Hi, my friends. Happy Tuesday. I am so excited to hang out with you and talk to you today on 8 ways to treat your business more like a business so that you can experience more ease. And I have had this conversation with so many clients in the last 2 weeks. And so you know what that means. I was like, I've got to talk to you guys about it. So if you're joining me live or you're catching the replay, would you do hashtag replay and say hey to me? I would love to hang out with you. Feel free to post any questions. I always come back and engage in the comments. So I would love to hear if there's any aha moments or if there's anything that stands out for you, because I think this one is going to be kind of a game changer. I'm going to give you 8 specific things, kind of like a little checklist of like, what are ways that I'm not treating my business like the business it is? And maybe there's one of these 8 that you want to do, and maybe another one will come to mind too, because my belief is the more we treat our business like a business, the easier it becomes, the more profitable it becomes, right? And we can talk about why we don't treat our business like a business too, and I kind of have a personal example around this. But today I want to share 5 fears that might be keeping you from treating your business like a business. And then again, 8 specific checklist things you can make sure you're doing to treat your business like a business. Okay, so let's dive in. Also, a quick housekeeping reminder that in 1 week, next Tuesday, I am doing a live workshop. It's not going to be here in the Facebook group. It's going to be in Zoom. Once a year, I do a private free Zoom session where we get together and do a content writing workshop. I call it the Client Attraction Writing Workshop. It's absolutely free. I'm doing one live on Tuesday, one live on Wednesday for different schedules, and we gather together. I teach you my 4-step framework for writing client attracting content. I don't hold anything back. And then at the end, you know, I'm all about action. So in session together, you will actually write a post, and you're going to shock yourself with what you write in session. You really will. Sometimes I think we overthink it, but I really hope that this is the invitation in this next season to make visibility easier, to make visibility higher converting for you. So make sure you register for that free workshop. I'll drop the link, but there's one free workshop on Tuesday and then one on Wednesday, again, in the Zoom room. So make sure that you register and you block off your calendar. And I'm so excited. I love those live workshops. I really do. Okay, so let's dive in up to treating your business like a business. So let's talk about 5 fears that might be holding you back. And you may, in some ways, be treating your business kind of like a business, but I want to help you take your business even more serious this year. And I think like the number one reason that we don't treat our business like a business is because we think that making it official or treating our business more formally will take more time or more energy or more effort and make it harder. Right? And what I have found time and time again for myself and my clients is it doesn't make it harder. You're just being more intentional. And so it actually makes it easier, right? If you think about it, like at the start of your business, often what happens is we're spending a lot of time thinking about our business or thinking about action or planning or consuming or learning or ruminating or worrying, right? We're spending a lot of energy and effort, but not really on the things that matter most, right? And so when you make your business more official and treat your business like a business, often it takes less time and less energy, but the time is more intentional, right? Think about it for a second. Maybe if, you know, it is so funny because I think people assume because I'm very visible online that I'm online all the time. But the truth is that I'm not online very much at all, right? Because I'm intentional. And this might be the difference between like scrolling on Instagram for 2 hours, which I've definitely done before. I'm not saying I'm perfect. Or it might mean sitting down at your desktop and replying to comments for 10 minutes, right? And so I think it's remembering that the intentionality is really what makes a difference. Okay, reason number 2, a fear that you may have that may be keeping you from treating your business like a business is really this thought of like, what if by treating my business like a business, I have to like admit how badly I really want this thing to work, right? Like, what if I really own that, like, you know, while it's like a little, I remember I used to call my business like a side hustle. There's like a little less pressure on it, right? Instead of owning like in front of friends and family and like, no, this is a legit business, right? This is something that I am making money on or that I want to make money on. Really owning that. I think sometimes we hold back from doing that because we have a fear, right? Like, what if it fails? Then I look bad. Instead of right now, I'm not really treating my business like a business. So if it fails, I don't have to have like any shame or guilt around that, right? And so really check your heart around this, right? And it's almost like, to me, the parallel is like a relationship, right? Really admitting that you want it. Yes, there's some risk when you go all in on a business, but guess what? There's also a ton of potential reward, and you don't have the potential for it to fully take off and succeed if you don't go all in on it, right? Same thing with a relationship. You kind of have to commit to the relationship and go all in to see if that relationship's going to work for you. Same thing with a business. Can you go all in? Have you been kind of like dating your business? And is it time for you to propose to your business and say, hey, business, I'm all in on you, right? And it sounds wild, but like I almost think about my business as like a separate person than me. I don't really think about like me as my business. I'm like me and then my business. And maybe you need to look your business in the face and say, you know what? I haven't been treating you very nice, right? I want to take you seriously. Yes, it's risky committing to you as a business, but also I think it's time to commit to this next level and really own it. Which brings me to fear number 3, which is I think like a lot of times we're afraid that if we really admit what we want, or we look at something, or we ask for it directly, or we want to focus on growing it, we think it's going to jinx it, right? But really, at the end of the day, anything you study when it comes to goal setting or manifesting, right, whatever, the truth is the more that you focus on something, the more that it expands, right? So as you treat your business like a business, and I'm going to tell you 8 ways to do it, I really have seen time and time again from my clients that as they own, like, I really do want to do this business thing. I really do want to make money online, right? Or maybe you're making a little bit and you want to make more. I do want to make 5K months, whatever it is for you. Owning it is scary and vulnerable and risky, but also it brings you closer to actually making it happen. Like, I think sometimes we think that like, oh, I'll just like fumble around until it happens. That's almost never how it happens, right? Like, think about any goal you want in life. Like thinking if you're like gonna run a marathon. Never have done it, right? But my guess is if you're going to train for a marathon, you're not just going to like, oh, maybe someday I'll run a marathon, and then you like stumble onto a racetrack and then like run 26.2 miles. Is that how much it is again? Right? You are going to say, I'm going to run a marathon on September 15. So therefore, I'm going to own it. I'm going to tell my friends about it. I'm going to work out every day. I'm going to run. I'm going to eat right, right? You're putting all of your energy and effort. And yeah, it would suck if like September comes and you try to run the marathon and you fail, right? Or you only make 20 miles or whatever. But it's realizing that you're not going to get any closer to the marathon if you don't own, I want the marathon. I want to do it, right? And maybe you failed the first marathon, but maybe the second marathon you succeed, right? Do you see that? If you're joining me live, would you say hey to me? Hopefully this is going through okay. I think it is. Crossing my fingers. And the truth is like getting clear on what you want. And one of my affirmations that I say every day, every day, or almost every day, is it's safe to know exactly what I want and to ask for it directly. Right? I think so often as women, we're conditioned that like we have to hide our desires, or again, like if we say our desire and then it doesn't happen, we make it like something wrong about us, right? Instead of, again, with the marathon example, owning, I want to run a marathon and I'm going to do everything I can to get there. And I'm going to tell people in my life so they can cheer me on along the way, right? Same thing with a business. This is what I want. I am getting so clear that I desire this, and I'm going to make it as public as you want, right? Obviously, you don't have to tell people that aren't going to be supportive to you, right? But when it comes to your close support network, how are you really owning it, right? Like this, and again, for me, it was being able to say, like, this isn't just like a little side hustle or a little project. This is what I want to do full time. And it's being okay with like fear number 4, right? What others will think of me. Like for me, it was huge to be like, what do my peers, right? As I did therapy before, like, what do my therapy peers think about me as like a coach, right? Like, what does that feel like? Will other people think of me as I'm trying to do this thing? I'm not successful at it yet, right? And so I get that there's that fear of like, what if I really go for it and don't do it? But also like, what are other people going to think of me in this way? Hi, Asher. So good to see you on here. Happy Tuesday, my love. So good. Okay. Number 5, fear. And then I'll get to 8 ways to treat your business more like a business. Okay. Fear number 5 that may be coming up for you is wanting to have it all together, wanting to have your act together, wanting to have everything mapped out for this next season of growth. And I fall into this, honestly. I fell into it at the start of my business, but every time I grow or scale my business, I often get stuck here, right? Of like, I want to have the perfect plan. Like, I want to have the insurance, right? I want to know that it's going to work so that I don't have to look vulnerable. And I can like pad myself from like the reality that like we're humans having like a messy experience, right? So often we want to buffer ourselves from that, or the truth is it's just going to be a little messy, right? It's just going to be a little messy to get from A to Z. Okay, let's dive into 8 ways to treat your business like a business. Asher says, yes, mindset work is super helpful. Naming it directly with others in my close circle, right? And it's so vulnerable to do that, right? It's whether it's a desire in your business or a desire in your life. I think so often the hardest part is getting clear first on the fact that we want something. We want to make a certain income goal. We want to, have a certain type of relationship, right? Just even before ourselves in the privacy of our heart saying like, I want this, and not making ourselves wrong for that desire, even if that desire is different from others, right? And then being able to share it with your close circle, right? This is something that I'm wanting. I really am wanting this business. Like, I really am wanting to make this successful. Okay, here's ways. Oh, at first I wrote like ways that I see my clients not treat their business like a business, but as a good coach, I reframed it to 8 ways you can treat your business like a business. Okay. So if you do the opposite of 8 things, don't make yourself wrong for it, because like we've all been there, right? But these are 8 ways that you can check and ask yourself, am I treating my business like the business it is? Okay. Let's check mark these. Number 1. Prioritizing consistent visibility and sales. Prioritizing, right? And I get that there's the pro and con of like our business being flexible. The pro is that it's flexible. The con is that it's flexible. Okay, you're like, Anna, say more. The con is often that we flex our business more than we should, right? Like maybe there's a family member that has an emergency that, or maybe there is, things in our life. Like I know for a little while, it was like, I was feeling like I had to my family member would need an errand run. And then I would feel like I have to drop everything to run the errand for that family member, right? We flex it more than we need to. Or maybe for you, it's like when you take client calls, right? You're feeling like, well, I have the time open, so maybe I can take it anywhere, instead of keeping it narrow and how you'd like it, right? So it's remembering to prioritize your marketing, prioritize your visibility, prioritize your sales actions consistently, not just 1 week here and there, but really prioritizing that piece for the long haul. Okay, number 2 is spending intentional time working and intentional time off. Okay, so this means when you're working, right? I really try my best when I'm working to keep my phone in the other room, right? When I'm in a client session, how can I really focus on being present, right? When I am doing some content reviews for, my business or whatever, I'm reviewing my content for the next week. How can I just focus on that and nothing else, right? How can we be more singular focused so that we can work less? And then when we're done working, we can turn our computer off and be done with our phone for the day, right? We can delete Instagram. We can do that part, right? And so it's being more intentional when you're working, and also more intentional in your time off when you think about your boundaries, right? And in many ways, I think a lot of entrepreneurs rebel against this. Who's a little rebellious by nature? I kind of am. I don't really like being told what to do. I think that's why we become entrepreneurs, right? And so I think that's fine, but I think sometimes we self-sabotage or rebel against our own systems, right? Here's a classic example. Who has done this before? I've definitely done this before. At the end of a busy workday, I'm or not workday, after putting my kids to bed, I'm oh, I think I'll just scroll on social, right? Because I need some me time, right? Where at the end of the day, it really isn't very helpful. It's just okay, I just scrolled on social media, right? And so I think it's really asking yourself, how can I be more intentional with when I'm working? And how can I be more intentional when I'm not working? And creating that almost a little bit further of a divide and a clear distinction. Otherwise, I feel like our life can mold together, right? It can really feel, and I was just sharing the other day too on how I'm on Instagram stories a lot, but most of the Instagram stories I do, I take ahead of time. Like on my phone, I just like record a little video or do a little picture, and then later on I post it. And some people are like, well, Anna, you might as well like have Instagram and like do it right in there. The reason I don't is because then I'll also scroll, right? Then I'll also get lost in the formatting of it or whatever, right? Instead of like really asking yourself, how do I create a wider distinction so that I can enjoy my personal life more? And so that when I am working, I'm feeling more focused, right? Otherwise, what happens is you feel like you're kind of always working, but you feel like you're not getting anything done, right? Okay, let me know in the comments which you need to be more intentional on. Do you need to be more intentional during your work time? And my guess is if you're watching this, like you're a high performer, like you know how to get stuff done. And so creating, even if you kind of have all day to work, creating a tighter timeline, like tell yourself, I'm going to write these 2 social media posts in 15 minutes, right? And my guess is you would actually do it if you put that parameter. If you give yourself all day, you're going to take all day, right? And so really give yourself those hard timelines and stick to them, right? So that you can be more efficient and get it done. Okay, sorry. The question was, do you need to be more intentional in the time that you're working so that you can be more efficient and get more done? And again, even if you have all day free, it doesn't mean you have to work all day, right? Go off and enjoy your life, right? Like spend 1 hour, 2 hours really focused and then let yourself unplug. So do you need to be more intentional with your work time or in your off time, right? A lot of times I hear my clients say like, I struggle with feeling guilty when I'm not working. Like, should I be working right now, right? Or is there something else that I could be doing? Instead of giving yourself permission to like, nope, I did all that I need to do today. I'm going to delete social media off my phone. I'm going to unplug, right? And I'm just going to let myself relax and rest and be inspired. And if I do want to take a picture, I'm going to take it without being on social media and I'll post it later, right? Okay, so good. Asher says, what I struggle with is creating self-accountability to staying with the intention and goals I am trying to prioritize totally. And I think that's where external accountability can be super helpful. And also, like you said, like just keeping that goal. Something else that I've been working on too is like setting better internal deadlines, right? And so if there are like smaller actions within the bigger action, like maybe you have like a big client project, right? Like how can we chomp it down a little bit more and make it more digestible? Okay, number 3. Almost skipped number 3, and this one's important. Number 3 of a way you can treat your business like a business is make sure, did I double this one up? No, I didn't. You have support, that you have accountability, right? And again, whether that's through coaching, support like that, or maybe the accountability is through your own systems where you have like a little checklist. Or one of my biggest forms, I have a coach too, but another form of accountability is having my morning check-in where every morning I'm checking in and I'm asking myself, like, what are my priorities in my business? You know what I mean? Like, what are my blocks right now in my business? I'm checking in every single day and being consistent with that. Okay, number 4 way of how you can treat your business more like a business is give yourself permission to dream bigger. And this one can be hard, especially if you feel like you're working really hard and you're not currently meeting your goals. Right? It's like, why would I dream even bigger? And I'm not saying you have to necessarily move your income goal, because I'm a big fan of like meeting your income goal and then raising it, and then meeting your income goal and then raising it, right? But I think really giving yourself permission to dream bigger in general in your life and business. And this is related to working intentionally and then taking time off. Because I find for me, a lot of times, like this morning in the car, when I was dropping my kids off at school, I actually forgot my phone. So I drove them to school, 20 minutes, drove back, no phone. And it's really weird, but like not having my phone in the car, not like being able to check it like once I dropped them off at school or whatever, like it gave me a lot more mental space. And I had like a great idea in the car ride. And I think we get more of those ideas and those visions when we, number 1, allow space for white space, right? For that creativity, but also just creativity in general, right? And how are you giving yourself that permission, that room? Asher talks so much too about You should leave your social links, Asher, because she talks a lot too about creativity and accessing that part, whether it's music or the arts, that part of your brain, but really allowing yourself to get into that visionary part of your brain. Because I think when we're building our business, a lot of times it is minutia. Like you do have to worry about how many times am I posting on social, right? How am I prioritizing XYZ, right? It can get really like masculine brained, which is necessary and important. But I think it's also like going back to that feminine side and allowing herself to dream and vision and think like so big, right? Of course, we just want to take action on like the next step, but also allowing ourselves to go to that big place of like, where do I want to be in 20 years? Like, what impact do I want to make in my lifetime, right? Like, what do I want people to say about me after I'm gone? Like, those bigger, intentional life questions, like allowing yourself to go there, right? So let me know in the comments too, which you feel like you need to work on more in this season. Is it more practical day to day, that granular, or is it giving yourself more permission to dream big and think big and explore? And you know what? Like, not all of my big ideas, I do. I have a lot of ideas, and sometimes they just live in my Google Doc, but I think it's just always inviting them, always allowing them, and always keeping space for them. Okay, so good. There's a button here that says new tip. Share live video. Okay, who knows what it's telling me. Okay, next is a way you can treat your business like a business is balance, growth, and stability, right? So I find that a lot of times my clients will overplan and be paralyzed from taking action, or winging it so much and never stopping to create stability or like repeat things. And so I think it's asking yourself, what do I need more of right now? Do I need more growth? Do I need to put myself out there? Do I need to take more risks? Do I need to be more vulnerable? Some of you are like, cringe. Or do you feel like I'm kind of like a queen at putting myself out there, and what I need to do is create more stability. I need to repeat the content that I've created, right? I need to create some structures and systems so that, right, like in the masculine stable energy, that's where that like feminine creativity can survive. And I think too, because we crave stability in our business, we try to like figure out a way to always do one or the other. And the truth is, in my business, I rotate between more ideas, more inspiration, more visibility, more putting myself out there, right? Creating new projects and programs. And then going back to the other side of like stabilizing, right? How do we create a system for that? How do I save that inspired content that I created so I can publish it later, right? And so really giving yourself permission to have seasons of growth and then seasons of like stability and stabilizing, right? Okay, next. This is just like one in general. But again, I've been working with several of my clients on this, so I was like, I got to bring this one up. Another way you can treat your business like a business is working on attracting high performers in your business. Okay, what do I mean by this, right? Let's talk about this in different ways. When you think about your team and you think about your clients, right? Really allowing yourself to, and I mean, we can talk about this in our personal life too. How do we attract high vibe, high performing people in our business? I think a lot of times, you know, you may get used to being the highest performing person in the room, right? Instead of realizing, no, I can call in, and I see this with my clients all the time, especially when you like hire your first team member, maybe you're hiring a VA, right? And I always tell my clients, don't hire a VA who's a project for you. Hire a VA that's a high performer, right? Someone that can come in, of course, you're going to have to do a little training, but someone that's going to come in, that's going to have ideas, that's going to help you, instead of feeling like, a lot of times what I see is the tendency to hire a team member who you kind of have to like mentor and handhold, right? Why? Because it's comfortable to us, especially if you are a coach or you're someone that likes to help people that are in a space that's behind you. Remembering that when you hire a team member, you don't want to hire a project. You want to hire an asset to your business. And it might feel a little bit intimidating in some ways, right? I also see this with my clients who have clients, right? Not that it's bad to have clients who are struggling. Obviously, in some ways, all of my clients are struggling because like that's why they come to me, is for that help, right? So again, we're not making it wrong if our clients are stuck or struggling, but I think also it's challenging. Am I attracting clients that are high level, right? I think sometimes we attract clients that aren't in a great space because subconsciously we're afraid of attracting people that are at our level or beyond our level, right? And it's remembering that you have something to bring and give your clients, even if it feels like they're ahead of you, right? And again, in general, I get that it's helpful to have a coach or a mentor that's like a little bit further than where you're at. However, remember at the end of the day, ask yourself, like, what am I teaching? What do I teach? What do I like? And this is where like we need to fight imposter syndrome, right? But really asking yourself, what is it that I'm an expert at? And I think so often we forget that. And instead we look for clients that are like behind us in like all of the areas in life and business, instead of just looking at someone that needs help in that specific area, but they may be high performing in other areas, right? Let me know if that makes sense. But really allowing yourself to, like, what if I attract a client that feels like they're ahead of me? Am I okay with that, right? So like maybe I'm trying to think of an example. Maybe you're like a health coach, right? And you're feeling like, oh, I'm feeling intimidated to, attract someone that, makes more money than I do in my health coaching business. But my question is, like, are you helping them with business or are you helping them with their health, right? So it's really staying focused on, like, what do you help them on? Can you help them? Do they want to be helped by you? And if so, like, it's a match, right? Instead of what I see a lot of women do is like take themselves out of the running because they're feeling like I don't know how to articulate this, but like feeling like their client has to really be behind them in so many areas, instead of really feeling like they can attract someone that really is a high performer in a lot of areas, but maybe it's just not clicking in this one area that you help them with, right? That's another way you can treat your business like a business, is really affirming that you attract high-level team members, right? A high-level coach that's going to be there for you, that's going to support you, and clients, high-level clients. And even when you think about friendships, like maybe you even put this for friendships too, really owning that, like, I can attract friendships in my personal life, in my business, that are on par with me, or maybe even feel like they're ahead of me, right? It's safe for me to have friends that feel like they're ahead of me, right? Really owning and affirming that. Okay, next is set expectations. I'm like trying to read my own writing. Set expectations and standards, and have patience. Okay, so another way that I think we don't treat our business like a business, again, this is another duality, is making sure that you're setting standards and expectations for your business and clear goals and intentions, but also having such patience with it, right? Really having that as the expectation of, this is what I want to make, right? This is the income I want to be making. This is the amount of people I want to fill my program, right? But also having patience for it, right? Also being okay if it takes some time. Okay, number 8, how to treat your business like a business is get serious about how you manage your money. You guys have heard me talk about this before, but just examples of how this might look is making sure you have a separate business account, right? Making sure that you are saving for taxes, right? I don't know how it is for you, but in California, I save 30% of what I make for taxes. I set that aside so there's no surprises at the end of the year, right? But really asking yourself, am I being serious about my money, even if I'm not making very much right now, even if I'm making $500 a month, right? Am I being serious about those $500 that I make? Is that going into a business checking account? Am I setting 10% of that aside for business savings? Am I setting 30% aside for my taxes? And I really think it's like setting the path and the route and the container is kind of the most important part, right? Treating that money seriously. Okay. That was my 8 tips. I hope this was helpful. And really, I just want you to ask yourself, like, how can I treat my business more seriously? Again, I think when we hear that, we hear like, how can I make my business more work or more hustly or overwhelming? But actually, what I find is that it makes it easier. Okay, I was going to give you an example too. Something I've really been troubleshooting with my littles is bedtime. Probably for like a few weeks, if not a few months, I've really been struggling with a bedtime flow and feeling like it's been a little bit rough for my littles and I, but I've really been working on it. I've been trying different solutions and I finally have found a good solution for us. And that includes doing like 10 minutes of intentional playtime where they each get to pick like an activity with me. It's been working really, really well. Really well. I'm so grateful. I want it to keep working. What was I gonna say? But I really had to stay focused on it for a long time. And there's several things I tried that didn't work, right? But for me, I knew the affirmation that I said for myself again and again is bedtime is a breeze. Bedtime is a breeze. Bedtime is a breeze. And so so maybe for you, it's like, I have a profitable coaching business. Or my coaching business makes X amount per month, right? It's staying locked in on it, continuing to try different things, but also just being locked in and trusting that the solution is on the way to you, right? And in many ways, yes, it's getting a clear strategy, but then it's just being willing to wait and be patient and staying locked in on it, not shifting and waiting for it to come, right? Being patient and waiting for it to come and just trusting that it's going to be around the corner. And in the moment, it feels like a long time. It feels like 3 months, 6 months, whatever it is for you, right? But in hindsight, when you think about looking back, when you're in the middle of a intentional season of growth or pivot, it feels long, but in hindsight, just remember, it's going to feel like a blip, right? So stay locked in on it. Stay locked in on it, my loves. Okay. Hope you guys have a beautiful rest of your Tuesday. Thank you so much for joining in. And again, don't forget to register for the content writing workshop next week, 2 times, Tuesday and Wednesday, but it's the same thing. So you don't have to register for 2, though you can if you want, but feel free to just register for 1 where you can come, you can light a candle, and you can allow yourself to really focus and lean in and write some content with me. I'm so excited to do that. And I think too, like how it relates to this treating your business like a business is, again, allowing things to be more intentional, right? Allowing yourself to create time, to carve out time, and see what comes up for you. See what comes up as you tune in. So good. Okay, yes, Asher is sharing her Instagram. What you're saying resonates so much. Attracting well-matched relationships with empowered and creative people who are stable and self-loving. Oh my gosh, I need to read that again. I love how you said that. Attracting well-matched relationships when it comes to team, when it comes to clients, when it comes to your personal relationships, right? Who are empowered, creative, stable, and self-loving, right? And it's not that we can't love or hold space for people that aren't there, but it's just believing that you are capable and worthy of that, and that it's possible for you to have those high vibe relationships, right? So, so important. Thank you for saying it that way, Asher. Okay, my loves, hope you have a beautiful Tuesday, and I will see you next week.